Welcome back. We're now joined by North Cenrtal Sports Information Director, Clark Teuscher. Clark, as always, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So the women's track and field team was also down at Illinois Wesleyan for the CCIW Championships, and they were able to come away with a second place finish.
Yeah, it wasn't. They were hoping to contend for a championship once again this year. Some things didn't necessarily fall their way. We were able to put together 3 individual championships, second place finish in a pretty competitive conference against one of the top teams in the nation in Illinois Wesleyan.
Yeah, the host Titans definitely had a tough squad, but as you mentioned, some of the Cardinals able to come away with victories. One of those, Bree Tolliver in the javelin, who also got second place in the triple jump. But Liz Composto, the defending champion, comes away with the pole vault championship again.
Yeah, you're going to be able to sweep the indoor and outdoor championships, certainly a good accomplishment for somebody in their first year of collegiate competition. Improves her mark a little bit for the national championships. You know, Brianna, that was a pretty big performance in the triple jump for her. It was a personal best outdoors by quite a bit. And then, just more of the same in the javelin throw. She's pretty far ahead of the rest of the competition in the conference.
And a couple other personal bests on the track as well. Amanda Coglanese wins the 400-meter hurdles and registers the second fastest time in program history. And also Chris Dakota gets the second fastest time in program history in the 1500 as well.
Yeah, that was a significant PR for Krista. She's once again new to this event this season, so certainly puts her into the conversation for being an All-American later on this month out in California. And Amanda's been improving all season long. It's an event she didn't have a ton of confidence in coming into the season, being able to go from the 300-meter high school distance to 400 meters in college. But it looks like she's made the transition pretty well.
You mentioned the trip to California. What is it going to take for the women Cardinals to send a lot more athletes out to the national championships?
Well, it benefits them to be competing at home the next 2 weeks. They've got a couple of last chance meets against a lot of good competition. They're going to have to determine, where they want to, what baskets they want to put their eggs in as far as where they have the best chance of getting additional qualifiers. But certainly in a time period where a lot of stuff can change in terms of those standings, it's definitely a good thing to be competing at home.
And another team that's still competing, the men's baseball team. They're not able to make the CCIW tournament, but they'll have a chance to redeem themselves this weekend against North Park.
Yeah, it'll be a good chance to send their seniors off, hopefully with a victory. North Park, with the regular season conference champions, they'll be hosting the conference tournament this weekend. So it's a chance to come away with a victory for those guys to ride off with against a good team.
And it was a really close conference race this year. I mean, the Cardinals were right in it. And you can really look to any conference game that could have went either way. Every conference game the Cardinals lost, except one, was either by 1 or 2 runs. That just shows how they were in almost every game.
Yeah, and it's with a young team like that, you can run into issues like that in the later innings. There's the last Saturday against North Park, they had 2 games that went into the 9th inning tied and wound up getting beat in the bottom of the 9th. So, it's as close a race as we've ever seen it, and it really, a bounce of a ball one way or another, the Cardinals could be competing this weekend in that tournament.
And you mentioned the youth of this team. What are some of these young players going to do for this Cardinal program next year, you think?
Well, they've been in prominent positions this year, so they've gotten plenty of game experience. Hopefully they're able to translate that into greater production next year. It's an important summer for those guys. They've got to be able to play a lot and stay healthy and come back ready to go.
And one player who's ready to go is Kyle Fedorowicz for the football team. He's off to New Orleans. He got invited to the Saints minicamp.
Yeah, he's got basically a 3-day tryout with the Saints, a team with a real demonstrated need at that position. So he'll have a chance to show what he can do. A lot of athletes in that position will tell you all they want is an honest opportunity to show what they're capable of, and I think he'll get that in New Orleans. And
if he makes the squad, how much do you think that'll bring recognition to the Cardinal football program?
Quite a bit. He would be the only one for quite some time to be on the professional level. We're really just kind of proud of him. They're even having the chance to get into that. That's not the easiest thing in the world to get. And a couple of other awards being announced this week. Mainly the women's lacrosse team comes away with 4 women on the MWLC all-conference list. Yeah, 3 first-team selections, which is certainly an improvement over the previous season. Shannon Prince, senior defender, named the Defensive Player of the Year. Certainly a fitting tribute for the end of a career for somebody who's been, she's the only player who's been a part of all of 56 of the women's lacrosse games over the past 4 years since it started up. It was a big part of getting that program off the ground and going, so it's certainly a good thing to see at the end of her career. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, rarely do you see an athlete play all 4 years and start all 56 games in a program, so definitely deserving for her. But also Danielle Fiala,
exploded this year in goals, and she was named to the first team as well.
Yeah, she was in the discussion for the Offensive Player of the Year. She was one of the leading scorers in the conference. She's going to be coming back as a senior. She'll be a big part of anything that they're going to try to be able to do next season.
And sticking with women's sports, a nice announcement this week as the women's soccer team has a new head coach.
Yeah, Bonnie Young was named the head coach officially on Monday. She had a chance to meet with the team and meet with some different people on campus. She comes in highly decorated as a player. She was a first-team All-Big Ten defender at Penn State, played in the professional ranks for a while. She's been working with the Naperville Soccer Association, so certainly there's some excellent local ties there to possibly help with recruiting. So we're definitely very excited to see what she's capable of once the season gets started this fall.
Yeah, she definitely has an impressive resume. What do you think that she'll bring to this Cardinal team next season?
Certainly some energy and some expertise. She'll be able to help them, particularly on the defensive end, with some things, and with her local connections, to being able to recruit local players in an area where there's a lot of good soccer being played. Certainly should help as well.
Well, we look forward to having her bring the Cardinals some success. Clark, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The men's track and field team continues to prepare for nationals this weekend on their home track at the Dr. Keeler Invitational. I'm Marc Dahlquist. See you here next week on the Cardinal Report.